Alright, let's cut out the BS. Do not ever copy the leftist ideology. That's a big mistake. You are following the commies. And the results are already too predictable. No food. Which edgy teenagers will say, well, that wasn't the real communism, bruh. And they say this with a straight face, like an absolute NPC. So, the first thing that turns you a commie, we need to see what our comrade Mandami is doing. He's a very warm person, and surprisingly, he will go down with a new way of execution rather than dying to execution squads or no food. AKA death by collectivism. As historically, collectivism has been a focus on a group of people and to improve the said group, like family, nationality, or any other group you can imagine. It sounds more effective and benefits more people than focusing on the individual. But it shares crucial similarities with communism, is that it never works in practice. The problem comes with that you can't actually focus on the collective, as it's not a real physical thing, and it's made out of individuals anyway. And individuals are the smallest unit, and they make up the collective and all the communities. Also to mention, collectivism is not one community. It kinda is, but there is a problem. You are forced to be part of it, and the socialist commune or council will decide for your community and what you need to follow along. Or, in this century, you are getting roasted. By the way, do not ask how collectivism gets implemented, culturally and economically. Spoiler, it's pure textbook socialism. And another thing is forced equality, or they try to call it just equality, with force. And the strongest soldier is the wokeism, which is logical conclusion of equality and egalitarianism. By simply just existing and not being brain dead enough, they do not understand if you take from others and give to the said disadvantaged, that is discrimination, which they are supposed to be against. And all of this works by throwing rocks to people they do not like. And what they don't like is subjective, aka based on their emotions and being envious. The most common boogeyman is white, heterosexual, middle-aged Christian man, and his evil and his crimes he committed includes immigrants taking free stuff by stealing from him, being homophobic online, racist, and of course fascist, and are literally the monstrous man. They also hate the rich because they have what they want. So these peasants will still be on welfare and be a massive bum. More of their ideas includes oppressor versus the oppressed dynamic, victimhood being good to beg upvotes on Reddit, and power structures being inherently bad. But it's not bad when Monsters Man Red version is in power. As you have realized or not, leftist ideologies sound so awesome about equality and just a lot of good feelings. And well, it's just that. Good feelings. It never solves the real problems of scarcity. It's just 14-year-olds with edgy ideologies. And the problem of communism is that you eventually stop being 14 years old. If anybody quits being a communist, their frontal cortex finally develops and they stop being a caveman with cave temperature IQ. The means of production rightfully belongs to the workers. Long live the revolution. The revolution starts with collectivization, which results in no food, like Voldemort. Execution of traitors. Oops, too many people. They were fascist anyways. And destroying capitalism by allying with fascists and national socialists. Yeah. But communism works, but it's the CIA putting embargo on successful communist countries. You know, it can't work if it doesn't have capitalist nations to trade with. So, punishing thieves is bad. Commies will immediately seize the assets of what other people have invested in that country, also their own people. As stealing is bad, they get punished. So basically, they argue when it's right to steal from other people. Not even surprising, as their best leader, Karl Marx, didn't work a day in his life. His greatest contribution was on 14th of March 1883. He died. Let's go back a bit. The workers. They do not care about the workers. They subjugate them with victim mentality, put them into collective to endlessly fight with each other. But in theory, it's when no surplus value. Workers get exploited by getting money now, while the business owner needs to find a customer to sell that product, so they get their money after that, when the workers are already paid. So it's more like a deficit value theory, as time is money, which is the business owner paying, and he's also paying extra for the marketing of the product that the workers worked on. When workers own the factory, whilst the most competent will become the leader, because he has skills to manage it better than others, and his incentive is to get the profit to keep it running. And all that whilst capitalism already allows the workers the means of production without needing to create communist shithole. Basically, capitalism is when the most competent is in power of the business. And so, what about their biggest fan base, the poor? Well, they don't also care about the poor, while claiming to care. Their method relies taking from the rich and redistributing to the poor, or forcing the rich to pay more to the poor, which is the same thing. But under their enemy system, capitalism, charity exists, and poor can work together, which is mutually beneficial, like neighbors supporting fellow neighbors, or like welfare without the welfare trap. There is such systems, but it's legally limited, because the commies just wanted the rich to pay. Also, under our current system, commies maybe even help the poor a little bit by participating in capitalism, and after socialism takes over, they get the no food treatment. Commies also talk about the equal pay, but what incentive has a scientist if he gets the same amount as cleaner? Nobody has incentive to do anything. Best incentive is to reward people by doing good things, but their fix is punish people so they maybe do the good thing, and if they do the good thing, they get punished anyways. Or better yet, they get roasted. And for scarcity and economics, they endlessly redistribute wealth for infinite monies. But more and more money starts disappearing every time, as they are going to spend it, the same way as a crackhead promises to change his ways if you give him money. Spoiler alert, he won't. But we all know that the crackhead and the commie will go and buy some crack, and will always become the bourgeoisie as they claim to hate. But this time, it's even much worse.
Big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip.